what
Yeah,
should we say a little bit about what EMDR consists of?
absolutely. So I guess I always think when people think of EMDR, they
Mm.
often think about processing. So I
Yes.
don't know about you, but many people kind of say, I want EMDR, but I'm not quite ready to start yet, you know, because there's this assumption that we're kind of going straight into working on that trauma.
Yeah.
Um, but
Or the
actually,
opposite, I find that they want to jump in and they want to
yeah,
do the reprocessing because that's what they know it for.
yeah. Yeah, and there's that slowing down part of like, we will get there. Um, but yeah, so when we think about EMDR, it's a phase model, isn't it? You know, we
Mm.
have phases that we're working through.
Mm.
So we have that assessment and formulation part. So
Hmm.
when we know what we're working on and what the treatment plan is.
Hmm.
Phase two, that second part,
Hmm.
we're kind of resourcing, as you just mentioned there. So
Yeah.
we're understanding people's windows of tolerances, what skills they have that's going to help us work through this trauma in the way that feels most manageable for them.
Yes.
And that I always think that's quite an exciting
Yeah.
like part of treatment, because it's always like, what skills do people already have, what can
Yes.
we build on, and we can get quite fun in EMDR kind of creating guiding figures or
Yeah.
safe places or healing lights. There's a lot that you can bring into that, which I
Yeah,
think
I
is
like
really
what you
fun.
said about tapping into the skills that people already have, because lots of people
Yeah.
have tried lots of things before
Yes.
they come to therapy, so they might have built a sort of bank of skills or a
Yeah.
support team that they can draw on, and
Hmm.
really also sort of bringing that in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because there's like some people really like, you know, sensory things like squishies, and you know, some people are more spiritual, so you can really tap into that and bring in certain meditations or guides. Yeah, I think it's a really fun part just to pull out what people have
Yeah,
or bring on, especially imagery. I love working with imagery, bringing on imagery, guiding figures to kind of
yeah,
help with that too.
yeah, yeah. And you've sort of touched on the second phase. EMDR consists of 8 phases as a whole, but
Hmm.
I don't always talk about all the 8 phases, but I do talk about the sort of part that you're describing, the sort of assessment and preparation part where we build safety and build skills, and then almost like the processing part as one
Yeah.
section where we do the desensitization of
Hmm.
memories, and then also that integration part towards the end where we really build those positive, strengthen the positive beliefs, and think about um, how this I lost my words there, how this sort of, I guess, oh, I've lost my words.
Like connects together and
Yeah.
updates.
Yeah, so I guess how this connects to the outside world, and
Yeah.
like thinking about the goals that they brought into therapy,
Hmm.
and how this sort of links back to that.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's often a part I find that people are not so familiar with. That
Hmm.
actually, once we've done the processing of the trauma, we have this other part where we're like, okay, so let's work on the triggers or those future scenarios that may
Hmm.
feel quite daunting, where, like I
Mm.
said, we can really integrate those new perspectives, those new positive beliefs
Yes.
about how you can show up in the world now.
Yes. Yes. And you touched on future, and I think it's so with EMDR, we can reprocess things that have happened in the past, but we can also work on more present and future targets. So if there are situations where we're anticipating that we're going to feel anxious or a certain
Hmm.
way, we can also reprocess those.
Yeah.
And I think that bit is really helpful, actually.
Mm. Yeah. And again, it's really fun. I
Yeah.
find that people have connected with themselves. They've got through this trauma memory that they're thinking, how on earth could I feel any different about something so awful and horrible?
Mm.
but we can, and it's so you can't put it into words, that change,
Yeah.
but it can feel different. And so there's usually excitement about getting back into the world in a different way, working towards goals. So again, that's a really exciting part of EMDR, is actually kind of thinking, okay, what do you want your life to look like now? What do you want to go and get from life?
Yeah.
And creating some templates about, okay, how am I going to do that?
Yes. Yeah.
Which is cool.
And it's interesting the changes that can happen. Like sometimes it's very subtle. So it's like someone
Hmm.
might come and say, "Oh, I've noticed that um, there's been this shift in me this week,"
Yeah,
and sometimes it's a lot less subtle. So it might feel a
yeah.
lot bigger and more noticeable. And it's
Hmm. Hmm.
interesting to see those
Yeah,
a variety of changes that
yeah,
happen
yeah, yeah.
in people.
Yeah. And it's like clients might come and be like, oh, I bought myself some flowers, or
Yeah.
oh,
I
I
love
didn't
that.
say sorry for something that wasn't my fault, or
Yeah.
oh, I just said no to that person because I just didn't want to do it. And they're not conscious or intentional actions, but they're just happening as part of that spontaneous change.